Awkward silences. Yeah, everyone hates them. But did you know it's actually a good thing in some aspects? Because intellectual people are shown to leave longer pauses between conversation topics. So there's that advantage. But what about those awkward silences when you are talking to someone that you like? Yikes. Let's dive into the many different things that you can say to fill in those awkward silences. Stay tuned for the video. Okay, so the very first thing that you can do is ask some open-ended questions. Push the talking over to the other person and get them to answer a question. Something, if you can, that elicits more than just a yes, no, or a maybe answer. For example, what made today absolutely awesome? Use a filler sentence and change topic. If in the moment of the awkward silence and you aren't really too sure what to say, you can use these examples. Great point. Bit of a tricky subject, then you talk about something else. Or you can say, yeah, it's not really that interesting, but what about insert new topic. Talk about yourself. You may keep dishing out open-ended questions without making any full-on appearance to the conversation, leaving that other person thinking that you are interviewing or interrogating them. So feel free to offer your opinion and your pearls of wisdom about what they are saying when the awkward silence appears. Remember, you want to keep a conversation flowing, so it's totally okay to talk about yourself. Talk about some things that you are passionate about, and as soon as the other person catches on to your passions, it will encourage them to share their own passions too. Memorize some questions. If you find yourself constantly met with the brick wall of awkward silences, then take some time to remember some deep questions. Some really good examples could be, so what's your favourite dish? Or what habit do you wish you could break? Where did you grow up? What do you do to de-stress in the evening after a very long, stressful day at work? Ask follow-up questions. Not only does it keep the other person talking, but you will learn more about them, and then they will walk away assuming that you are a great communicator who is extremely friendly because you showed an extreme interest in them. When they end the conversation, you can keep it going by asking, "Wow, that's crazy. Tell me more. How did you feel? Did that ever happen again?" That way, you are keeping the topic constantly at the top of the conversation. Give a chronological breakdown of your weekend. If you are really short of things to say in that awkward moment, offer a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt is something that you can say that's slightly unexpected. It basically kickstarts the other person's brain into thinking that what you have said is pretty random, but it has to be important. For example, there's an awkward silence, then you start talking about the new restaurant you visited at the weekend and also the dish that you had. Naturally, the other person will think, what the hell, where did this conversation come from? I know, let me just intervene quickly so that I don't appear rude and talk about my favourite restaurant. Then they could talk about the location of the restaurant, talk about their thoughts of the food that you ate, and before you know it, boom, you've entered into another conversation topic. Notice the natural close in a conversation. Sometimes, let's be honest, we can overwork a conversation and things can get oh so awkward. And most of the time, there are lots of awkward silences when one person wants to close down that relationship and wants to stop talking. So if you notice that they are pretty hesitant to keep the conversation going, it's actually time for you to say, well, it was great chatting, see you soon, and you leave the actual conversation. Talk about feelings instead of facts. Everyone loves to talk about themselves, so use this to your advantage. Ask them subtly personal questions such as, what are your future plans? How do you spend your free time? What's your favourite music and movie genre? Try to keep these subtly deep topics related to something that you have already spoken about. For example, if you know they've just come back home from a holiday in Paris, you can ask them if they happen to know any French or any other languages, and if not, you can ask them what language they would love to learn and why. Make sure your comments are not boring and short. Naturally, it's just oh so easy to let the other person talk and for you to just keep saying, wow, tell me more, keep going, amazing. However, if you don't really add in anything more than that, they are going to get bored. So try to keep your responses just as exciting. Add in your own opinions and thoughts, and then you get them to extend on what you think, and before you know it, you're having a back and forth conversation. Don't show off. It could be so easy to switch the conversation into something that you are an expert in. And yeah, it feels great to have people swooning over your brain power. However, this isn't going to make everyone around you feel comfortable. Remember, you're trying to have a conversation, not a competition. Go back to a previous conversation. Not only is this going to make them feel that you have truly listened to what they have said and they will feel very humbled, but it gives you plenty of time to think about more conversation topics. You can say, "Can I just ask you about that thing you said previously? I'm so intrigued." Bring others into the conversation. If you are really struggling with an awkward silence and you do have other people around that you know you can bring into that conversation, then you can do just that. You can ask those around you for their opinion of that thing that you are talking about. Try to be down to earth. One of the reasons why people don't know what to say is because they might feel either they're going to say something rude or they're going to say something where the other person is going to laugh at them and think, wow, what a really stupid thing to say. So if you are explaining something, perhaps it's a new person at work and you've noticed there's quite a lot of awkward silences, then this is your moment to kind of fill in something so that the other person knows you are just a normal person. Let's say, for example, you are talking about work-related things. You can whisper, give them a nudge and say, "You know what? No one really likes being here, but the coffee is amazing in the staff room and it's completely free." And this type of humble behavior gets the other person laughing, and obviously laughing starts to get rid of that awkwardness. So you need to find a way that you can relate to that other person as soon as possible. Now, if you are the confident type, this is a great thing to do. You can just talk about the awkward silence. You literally say, "Wow, another awkward silence. What can we say right now to get rid of it?" And that adds a little bit of humor to remove the awkwardness. Plus, it kind of lets the other people know that you are very socially aware. And the fact that you've mentioned there's been a bit of an awkward silence kind of makes it just a little bit more interesting to carry on talking with you. It's as if everyone knows the elephant's there in the room and it's a case of, "I know, this is a really cool thing to talk about." And then people are so aware of not having an awkward silence that it almost becomes like a competition to make sure there's always something going on inside the conversation.